publicly on this sensitive subject.
Thank you. I should declare I'm a palliative medicine physician. I've worked in the field since 1987, and I have looked after thousands and thousands of dying patients, as well, of course, having my own experience of people very close to me dying. I've had many, many conversations with people who are dying, people who are in absolute despair. I had a patient back in 1991 who was desperate for euthanasia. 4 of us thought that his prognosis was 3 months. He, with great difficulty, and I was there till 11 at night, persuaded him that I would try and relieve his symptoms, and he said he'd give me 2 weeks before he killed himself. 11 years later, he phoned me because his wife was dying. She died in my care with his children at her bedside and him in a wheelchair. He is still alive today. He's just an example of how wrong you can be. I've had many conversations with patients where they've said, I never believed that I could feel so much better again. The one thing that palliative care and assisted dying have in common is that they are very poorly understood. And that's a real problem. We have the post-shipment effect with opioids, unfortunately, and now clinicians are reluctant to prescribe the type of dose which actually many patients need, so it takes a bit longer to get there. As for nausea and vomiting, I've been involved in the research, and the situation now is that we can control intestinal obstruction well. Smell from fungating tumours doesn't happen like it used to. I saw it happen years ago, but not today. Modern medicine has changed. I had the privilege of working in the Netherlands with a visiting professor, as a visiting professor, and I've been out with the GP to observe these conversations happening. And it was really striking how you end up going down one road and the clinical thinking to think about other ways of controlling symptoms. It becomes very difficult. And this was a very, very good GP. I've been involved in providing education all over the world. Nowhere else has got the level of palliative care education that we have, but it has only been in less than the last year. It's the Health and Care Act, which finally puts palliative care as a core part of the NHS. Until now, we haven't had that. And that becomes really important. I've seen patients who have been suicidal have really discussed whether or not they go to Switzerland, but actually those requests and that suicidal ideation disappears when they get the care they need. And I think the last thing I would say is that my own mother was very strongly in favour of euthanasia, and when she was dying and we thought she had 6 weeks to live, she was extremely angry with me that I'd opposed it. 4 years later, she said that she was really glad and that she had had the most incredibly rewarding time seeing her grandson born and so on. So I think that was just an illustration to me. I've been on the receiving end of the conversations on many occasions.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it was important